Hello everyone, this is a quick review of the January issue of the Morgan Report. You can see as we start off that last year was the first year in 13 that the gold market was not up, it was down. So it had 12 consecutive years. A lot of the mainstream, especially the major bullion banks, are making some very interesting noises about gold going down as low as like 1050 or whatever. We think that the bottom is in for silver at least. Gold has already tested 1179, came up off it. We think gold's probably put in a bottom. More assured of silver, just because we believe that doesn't make it absolutely certain, but we've had 6 months above the bottom at 1817 on the 28th of June. So this month we went into the beginning of the end. We talk about Janet Yellen taking over as commander of the Fed. I think her flight to fame, you might say, starts very early in January, here in a few days. The labor participation rate, as you can see, is hitting all-time lows. I mean, this is the reality of the situation, not what you hear from the mainstream. Gross federal debt, of course, moving up like crazy. And then any metric you really want to use where you take the truth into consideration, what you find is that this debt situation is untenable, and it's going to continue that way, and sooner or later it'll take care of itself without any intervention. I mean, all the intervention that's taking place certainly is trying to quell the problem, but it won't. Eventually this thing is going to blow up, and how exactly it unravels no one knows for sure. But what we have done in this report is go through every conceivable way you could think about this thing in reality, in real terms, and what it means. And of course we have these alternatives here, possibilities, looking again at the real numbers, nothing fudged. And some of this stuff is semi-fudged because it's government data, but even with their data, using their own data, you see it's untenable. It's unbelievable what's going on here in the debt markets. So after we go through all of this in great detail, we also talk about Janet Yellen herself and what her belief systems are. And those that haven't heard of it, she believes in the Phillips curve. You can look at them on Google if you're not a subscriber. But this is a absolutely inaccurate way to look at the economy, but she's a big believer in it. She thinks that government has their place in controlling as much as they possibly can. And the conclusion, of course, that we reach is probably similar to the free thinkers out there. Other than that, we went through a lot of the company updates that we have. Silvercorp, one we mentioned, of course, that really was blasted by this short-selling consortium, which we thought at the time. And then I put in something about a little bit of a exercise regime that I got from my personal trainer when I used to run triathlons, letters to the editor, a lot about the stocks we have, and of course citing all our work. And then below that is the asset allocation table. So that's going to do it. That's a brief summary of the January Morgan Report. Wishing everyone out there a great, happy, and hopefully prosperous new year.